Hey guys, and welcome to a very special Cast of Salt.
But not special in the way that you're thinking.
Very special.
Yes, for once, I will actually keep my clothes on for the entirety of a podcast.
Which is
Joining you today, way to the left, we have Adam.
Hey, I'm
to
wearing
your
a cool
right,
hat.
I guess, or left. I don't know. How
To
it works.
my left.
To the left,
Yeah,
to the
right.
left.
Directly to my left, we have Ryan.
Yo.
Myself, Benjamin. And to my right, the weird, naked, liking, nipple prepping guy, Ben.
Hello, ladies.
How many minutes are we in?
So very quickly, thanks for joining in.
Also, if you watch our announcement video, we're totally wearing different clothes and this is recorded on a completely different day.
See, that's why
Totally.
I undid
Totally,
my
He
button
totally
undid the
different.
button, man. He
to
undid the
distract them with the cleavage.
If
Yeah.
you're watching,
It's an
thanks
ancient
for
technique.
joining us. Please check out more of our content on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're just listening, thank you very much as well. Hope you're enjoying this content.
Join our Discord. It's in the description. We love chatting with the community, and we're
Now with 50% more memes.
now with 50% more memes
I'd say
and
like
30%
9%
more D&D. So
So for today's session, we do have a bit of a special agenda. We will touch on two fairly substantial topics, but try to get through that quickly. And then towards the end of the cast, we will be going through our wrap up of the year.
So basically the most important topic.
The A Pinch of Salt Awards.
a pinch of salt, terrible awards.
the salty surprise at the end of the year.
Okay.
Oh, there's also timestamps as well. So seriously, no, watch the whole thing. Don't you fucking skip now. But there are timestamps if you do want to go straight to the awards.
would
There are
say-
timestamps.
All right, Adam, bait them. Set up a timestamp to be like
That just
Game
moves
of the
back
Year
to the start.
award. Yeah, 0-0.
Anyway, before we do get into the swing of things, has there been anything of any interest over the course of these last 2 weeks?
Well,
Anyone?
I mean, there are two crazy things happening in my life right now. One of them is I'm like looking at houses and like getting pre-approvals, and
Nice.
it's a scary adult world out there.
Getting involved in the bubble of the housing market,
The
Ryan.
bubble of housing market.
I thought
Funny
I
s-
noticed that with your grey hairs.
Yeah, funny story. The housing market has actually come down a bit,
It has a little, like
like a smidge.
like a pigeon's penis length.
All right, no.
I've never
real
heard
question.
that as a reference.
How are you so intimate with pigeons' penises?
I don't know.
He
I just like
knows
the
all
alliteration.
about pigeons.
Considering
penises.
I'm the one that like bred pigeons growing up, and I know nothing about them.
You breed pigeons? wait, no, this is way more important.
Whoa. All right. Sorry,
Down
you forget that agenda. Ben.
Pull them back
We need
out
to
of that
talk about this.
segue. Pulling you guys back out of that segue.
Yeah.
That the other thing that I've been sort of helping to organize is our community D&D night, which is happening this week. By the time this video comes out.
It would have been this week, but the week prior, but Chris just keeps fucking us.
Yeah. So
God
What's
damn
your
it.
problem,
So-
man? Come on.
The
we
worst.
may or may not release that as like a more of an edited video, but you're more than welcome to join the Discord, listen in.
Listening live.
Everyone will live.
I'm looking forward to the green text of this event.
Hear every roll in real time.
Can we?
Sit with us for
Get
6 hours.
excited, people.
That's been fun. I'm fucking
I'm
I'm loving
actually
it.
genuinely looking
Can
forward
we
to it.
link the dice bot to a rolling sound?
Please don't.
Fuck no.
Please
I don't know if we can.
Absolutely
but
fuck no.
No.
Okay. Shall we get straight into our first topic?
What? I just have to
Yeah, okay,
shout
tell
out
us.
from my
Go for it.
week. Kobolds and Catacombs is out for Hearthstone, and it is the first time that I feel good recommending Hearthstone to be played by one of my friends, because the single player content at the moment is fucking lit. Yeah, that's it.
So Hearthstone has a single player mode.
Really good.
Okay.
Roguelike elements, card-based single-player mode, which, if you're playing the Ben Bingo, that hits 2 of the 5.
Yeah, that's like. Yep. Cool.
Anyone
Ben's
else?
erection. 45.
I'm playing my fucking Destiny hat for anyone listening.
Watching.
And his Lionel Hutz Attorney at Law shirt.
Yeah.
No,
I like
money
shirt.
down.
No, the new Destiny expansion came out. I'm one of the few that I'm not like Reddit. I actually like this expansion. It's been
So
pretty
do you
good.
like them locking content that was previously available
No, that was-
behind
that-
the
that-
expansion?
That was a dick move.
That was a shit move, and they've reversed that. I understand. We can go into that, but I understand why they basically did that. because like that's a traditional kind of MMO thing of like being like, okay, we're ramping up the events to make those old pieces of content still relevant.
Yeah.
To players,
It's
because
like
you're
this-
going to blow the event away now. It's going to be useless. But the thing is, though, that so they do realize that because they're not a subscription service, you've paid money. You've already paid you $80. People are like, fuck no, no, you need to
Give me everything that I've paid
this
for.
content.
Yeah.
I fucking deserve to play this. So they're looking at. They said, okay, sorry, we've rewound everything back. There's one piece of content, which was Trials of the Nine, which is like a special PvP arena that comes up every few weeks that you can't access. But that's by the nature of how it's a competitive PvP. And
If you're gonna
Wow,
compete,
it's almost like it's an MMO.
well, that's it is. But like because it's competitive PvP, they can't just say, well, we like your level matters and we can't allow you to be in because it's new maps and there's a cross issue there. And they said we can't fix this at the moment. We're trying to
Find a solution.
We're trying to find a way
about
to
it.
get you guys that as well. It's
Anyone above level, drop them to level cap.
pretty much, yeah.
below level.
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Raise them
I
to
think
level
it's.
cap.
I think it's. They're just gonna have to. I mean, to Bungie's credit, they got on it pretty quickly. I think with the bad press of Battlefield 2, Battlefront 2, everyone is like super on edge. So when any company makes a mistake like this over the last couple of weeks, they've been like, we're on this right fucking now because EA has let this snowball and it's
just bad.
It's actually taken a hit. They updated their financial forecast because of how bad Battlefront 2 went.
Yeah.
It's
Something
a
that-
noticeable dent into EA as big as they are,
See,
which is pretty fucking amazing.
I know this is going to annoy you because we're segueing into a different topic, but similar thing happened in Hearthstone recently. They announced one of their cards, and the text of the card basically says, find two beasts and merge them together, then play that card.
Polarization!
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. So
Polarization card.
that as an ability you can use every turn. They came out and said, well, it's not actually every beast because we're not including the ones from the new expansion. And everyone was just like, no,
What the fuck?
get the fuck out. And then this week, Blizzard was like, we fixed it.
Yeah.
Well, it works
It's all
out.
good. Yeah, sorry.
Fixed in big inverted commas.
I hope you know that you've added a week to every set delivery time. And I'm like, genuinely adding the tag can be like, what would you say, polarized?
Polarization.
Yeah,
Polarized.
that. to
Yeah,
the card in the database, big fucking warp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But they also need like the picture to combine and that's
No, they just used the picture of the first one already.
Yeah, there is no technical difference.
Literally none.
Yeah.
But once again, because the Battlefront fucking fiasco, you
People
can
are
play.
getting really antsy about their microtransactions, which to be honest, is probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good
I would
thing.
say, you mean our
What if
voices
EA
are getting heard?
Something good has come out
what
of
if
this
EA was the
shitstorm.
hero? What if EA went back in time?
They did this intentionally.
They knew it was
They
coming.
did this intentionally to save us.
2027.
Anyway, I'm sorry, guys.
To
I'm
take
gonna
us off the darkest
cut it
path.
down.
They're not the hero we deserve, but they're the one we need right now.
We've used up all our weekly recap
Yes.
time. So we're going to jump straight into the first topic that we did want to talk about.
Kind of segues into it.
Yeah, actually, exactly right. So Adam, would you like to give us a bit of a rundown with regards to the Patreoning?
Yeah, so basically Patreon released a new pricing schedule.
Ew.
And because the way Patreon works is that you have so you subscribe and say here's my X dollars a month to these subscribers, and Patreon take a cut of that to fund
Themselves.
and do that. They don't honestly take that much. They're pretty good in regards of how much money they give the creators, and at the moment they've done nothing to prove that they're going to prioritize themselves over the creators they're serving. They've been pretty good with it. So yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I think there's a one-time fee as well. If you subscribe at a lower level, instead of paying a fee every time, it's a one-time fee or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I actually don't subscribe on Patreon. I've just been reading up on this.
Yeah.
They do have a pretty comprehensive pricing structure.
But
So it's about 5% of the total thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like That's with just a quick Google search. Don't quote me, but that's the second result.
But anyway, so they announced these changes. Everyone flipped this shit because whilst it sounds good on paper, it's like we will only take 35 cents from every transaction, right? That sounds great if you're subscribing at like the $10 level.
So basically what they did is they instead of saying a percentage, they said we're going to put a fixed price. So it means that with the patrons that are putting more money in, that you'll get more of that money instead of us taking 5% of $100 a month. You will take 35 cents and you get way more money, guys. So I think they did it from a point of they were trying to make the system better.
And to be fair,
I was going to say, to be fair, the current system does have issues, and there are separate arguments against the current system.
Yes.
I mean, and what 35 cents is 5% of $7. I subscribe to, or I haven't. I've canceled my subscription, but I used to subscribe to Amanda Palmer for $10 a month. So the 35 cents per transaction on 10 is less,
slightly less than what you normally would.
But the problem comes in when you realize that a lot of Patreon subscribers only subscribe at the $1 level.
Yeah. So I was just about to ask, what's the minimum subscription?
It's $1.
There's ones, there's twos, there's fives.
Yeah. So if you do a $1 subscription of a month, that is 35 cents out of that dollar.
Which meant because that's the thing, right? Because you might sign up to Patreon and support 5 different channels. Yeah. And you want to support them all at the $1 level, which is $5 a month.
You might do 20 channels.
Yeah.
So you say I can get $20 a month, and I'll do 20 things that I like.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So what I'm hearing is that it doesn't so much impact the subscribers per se. Yeah, actually, no, sorry, it does, but more so it impacts the
creators.
The creators, because instead of getting 95% of all their transactions in a large amount of those transactions, they're only getting 75%.
The main kickback from this was actually the patrons weren't happy because they're getting charged more, and they were dropping their subscriptions, and the people that have the account holders were more frustrated with Patreon because their money wasn't like they were like, hey, I know you're trying to make these changes for me, but I get 90% of my subs. I have 10,000 patrons or whatever.
And each of them give me $1.
And each of them give me, and then like 90% of them give me $1. So 90%, I get $9,000 a month of $1 subscriptions. I just lost 50% of them.
Yeah.
And then
what's more is
they just went, I can't afford this, unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So why would they unsubscribe?
Because they're like, I can't afford because they're people that have done multiple channels for $1. And so they've pulled all their subscriptions and pulled out of the platform entirely. So the creators are getting less money, and people's patron numbers were just dropping.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was 35 cents per transaction, right?
Yep.
So it's not that you pay $1 and 35 cents of that comes out. It's that all your subs are now $1.35.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So that's where the problem is.
So
it's added to it as opposed to subtracting.
So what it means is that like the creator does get more money per transaction.
Okay.
They absolutely get more per transaction. But the problem is,
so I was wrong when I said earlier on that
they don't take money off the top. Like, so they get more. They get pretty much all of it. But it means that instead of shifting, we need our operating costs, and we're taking it from the account holder.
We're taking it from the
patrons. Which in theory is like again, personally, I'd be okay with that because I'd be like, well, I'm already committing money, and this service is helping them do that. So I'm helping.
You're carrying on what's supporting these guys. Yeah,
but for a lot of people, this is a lot of money.
Exactly, especially when you're multiplying that out by 20 subs. All of a sudden, your $20 a month across the board has gone to what? That's an extra like $5-10. Like
$7.
So that definitely makes sense as to why that would cause a lot of subscribers to drop.
So anyway, absolutely. The situation that we're in at the moment, right, as of like 2 or 3 hours ago, Patreon have released a announcement saying, we've heard you, we're not doing this, but we still need to address the problems that we were trying to address with this update.
So we've got to go back.
So we're going back to the drawing board. We're going to be soliciting your feedback, which we should have done in the first place.
Yeah. Can I ask what problem they're trying to address?
Mainly the fact that they're taking like cuts, like such substantial cuts out of big donors, effectively.
Okay, so 5% out of any $100.
Yeah,
or
they're like
whatever.
Patreon doesn't need that percentage from them.
Yeah,
okay.
Because most of them, because the bulk of the site is made from $1, $2 a month donors. You're impacting the whales, which don't really mean as much in the scheme of things, but like Patreon doesn't need those numbers.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is, the big thing that's come out of this is that a lot of people have lost their Patreon subscriptions because a lot of people have just pulled out entirely.
Yeah.
I think Sid Alpha did a video. Is a news sort of guy that I watch occasionally. He mentioned that a couple of his subs actually contacted him and was like, all right, I've just sent you $24 through PayPal, which will cover my dollar subscriptions for the next 2 years.
That's cool.
You know, or whatever it was, like $12 will cover your subscriptions for a year, something like that. So people have actually been like, I'm pulling out of Patreon.
But I'm still going to try to support as best as I can.
That's good because a lot of people I know haven't, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter just being like, well, that's great that you guys have pulled back. And to Patreon's credit, the title of the art and the blog post they put up was like, we messed up. We're really sorry, and we're trying to make this better.
Yeah, so let's talk about the positive things from this.
Yeah.
God, isn't it great to have a platform that's transparent about what they're doing, and about what's happening to your revenue?
And to be honest, I think YouTube. I actually think it's unfortunate that it's panned out this way because it sounds to me like Patreon was trying to do the right thing in the first place.
I think
like their objective was to like, hey, we want to do good by
the intention.
Our Patreons,
yeah, the intention was there. The implementation wasn't great.
Yeah, but they didn't talk to the community, and all of a sudden you're just like,
that's the
you're
backlash.
Fucking killing us.
Yes. That's the backlash that they're getting, right? Yeah. Is that they didn't really consult. This was just like announced, and it was like, this is happening in a month. Get used to it.
Deal with it.
Even though like it was like, we're doing this for you. At the end of the day, it kind of didn't make sense.
It didn't quite work out. I do like the fact that they've been so quick to respond. I guess the only downside is the people that have unsubscribed. Those
creators
may never be able to get those back.
They
may get new numbers, but they may not be able to bring those back.
That's
the really unfortunate
thing at the moment. And I think in Patreon's thing they even admitted that, like, we realize that a lot of you have lost patrons, and there's no amount of apology that can make up for that. We're just going to try and do our best to win back that trust.
I saw people on Twitter as well being like, hey guys, they've rolled back the rules. If you did unsubscribe to me because you were trying to put a protest out to Twitter, out to Patreon, it worked. Please come back now.
I am quite hopeful in the sense that I feel like most people that were using this platform and unsubscribed will be paying close enough attention to be like, oh look, they've fixed their mistake. I can go back now.
Well, hopefully.
Ideally, that will be the case. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I just remembered a story that we'll cover right at the end. It's unrelated.
So,
sorry.
In my opinion, the executive summary of the whole Patreon thing is a very simple and old saying of, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah. Look at this is why you shouldn't try, people. Be awful all the time.
So can you ask me what intentions EA had when they released Battlefront 2?
To make money.
Money. That's not a good intention.
More money than could ever have been made possible.
So, no, we've discussed this earlier. It's to save us from the future.
Yes. It was an intentional decision to stop microtransactions, Adam.
EA released Battlefront 2. To save us from ourselves.
Well, that actually kind of segues us onto the next topic.
Yeah, jump straight into it. Feel free to run with it.
It's interesting because this whole issue of games as a service has been fucking atrocious. Like, to put it bluntly, there have been some games in the genre of games as a service that have functioned well, that have critical praise as well as solid fan bases
and continued years of support because it is a service first and foremost.
TF2 is one. Overwatch is a new one on the game as a service because it's only a year old, but it's definitely pushing in the right model.
Go back further. World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
League of Legends,
Dota.
Like,
See, these are all games.
Recently, Gwent.
And they all have different, and you notice as well, they're all games as a service, but they've all got different payment structures.
Yeah.
So World of Warcraft, all the traditional MMOs have all been
subscription based.
X a month.
I would say subscription based with additional money for expansions.
TF2 has got the same payment structure as Overwatch, where
kind of.
So
Initially,
TF2 originally did have a buy-in cost as well. Originally, it doesn't anymore, but it used to. And Overwatch has a buy-in cost as well, and then all of their future money to bolster the service is made through cosmetic loot crates, and then they've pushed and all content updates are free.
Yeah.
From that point on.
So that's basically Team Fortress's model as well.
Yes.
The only difference is you can also get weapons in crates. Yeah. However, they're like at the moment it's just pure weapon skins. You can unlock weapons naturally through gameplay.
But on the flip side, TF2 is also free, as in both free speech and free beer. So it's fine. You can get your stuff in loot crates that improve your character.
Yeah, because it's a free game. There's no
Who cares?
Yeah, that's fine. That's like again. There are differences in the game why you can see how these models have existed and worked for the specific games for particular reasons.
But the point is, there's no news of like a League of Legends 2 or a World of Warcraft 2 or a Team Fortress 3. No. You know, these things don't exist.
Yes, because they're dedicated to being like, hey, this is going to be a 10-year service. And
not even just like a 10 years. So this is just an ongoing service. As long as you guys support us, we'll support
as long as it keeps working, as long as there's still a community, long as
Jesus Christ, how old is WoW?
Well, it's like 15 years, I think. It hit a milestone recently. Because I think people were talking about maybe having a WoW 2. But the thing is, if they did release WoW 2 for whatever reason, because they just ran out of expansions, then people were like, well, 10, 15 years is a pretty solid run.
2004.
Ooh.
So
13
years.
Just a quick segue as well on the MMO front, though. RuneScape has been continually free and subscription based if you want to pay for the extra features. They've also split it
into classic and
three ways.
I've got
two.
They've got like real classic, RuneScape Classic, which you know as RuneScape, and the new RuneScape.
Yeah.
Yep.
The new one's garbage. Don't play it.
Yeah.
What?
So it's old RuneScape. I can't remember exactly. One of them's old school RuneScape, but that's the one that everyone played, basically. Yeah. So, and then there's real old RuneScape.
So from my perspective, the reason I don't think there'll ever be, I shouldn't say ever be, but I don't think there will be a TF3 or
a
WoW 2 or whatever, is the fact that these games are evolving. Like, you look at WoW now, and yes, you're saying it's expansion, but the core fundamentals of it are growing and changing as you go. So it's a service in the sense that they're constantly improving it and they're constantly changing it. And it's a topic we've touched on several times before to say the reason it's still so relevant is because it's not the same old stale thing.
And that's kind of the point I was getting with RuneScape, right? Is they've continued to evolve it. However, there's also been points where it's like, well, there are people that love the new RuneScape. You know, I don't like it, you don't like it, right? But there are people that play it.
Yeah.
They've also then got, well, for the old fans that just want to play the old one, here's old school RuneScape, and it's a fork. We're going to continue to develop that. It's not just static and sitting.
I would say, I hope this is what's going to happen with the WoW Classic that's coming out. Well, not so much a fork as we're going to re-go through all the steps that led us here.
Yeah.
And then you can relive your former glory. Now, in the topic of them improving and changing things over time, you guys all heard about how much a garbage file Final Fantasy 14 was on release.
Oh yeah, it was awful.
It was awful.
Carl complained a lot.
Yeah, he still does.
When doesn't he?
And now,
I'm sorry, I love you, Carl.
After all these years, they've developed and improved it, and it's reasonable. And Carl's put it on his one of MVPs of the year type thing. And this is the advantage of games as a service. If you release something that is fucked up,
you at least have the ability to win back that trust.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing here. So we've been talking about where games as a service has worked
successful,
and it's proven that games as a service people have a hate bone for games as a service now because of
all the root crates
coming out.
Yeah,
but from Battlefront 2, but Battlefront 2 isn't the only offender here. But it's the
World War II. We'll get to that in the
primary offender.
As a gross metaphor, Battlefront 2 is just the head of the pimple.
Yeah,
there's still a whole lot of pus in there.
So another ones, and funny thing is, all the ones I'm thinking of, the kind of my mind immediately are actually all EA titles as well, which is not great for them. But I'll get into it. So the ones that we've been displeased with is Battlefront 2 as a core example of the fact that they're trying to push games as a service. They're trying to push the fact that where all the microtransactions and all this bullshit goes pushed in, and then they're like, and we'll release the sequel next year. Yep. So realistically, there's no longevity. There's no thought of, well, if you put money in and support the game, we'll keep putting content for it. It's just gonna be like,
pay another $80 every year and continue to pay.
And we might do a map pack as well, and we might do this, and all of it's paid. Nothing is like, hey, this is pay us here so you don't pay here, or do this and you don't. It's just like
it's all take. There's no EA doing something for the community. There's no
and
growth.
I just want to say,
unless the community kicks up a shitstorm.
I think I brought this up last podcast or the podcast before as well, but this is a model that has existed within sports games for a couple of years now.
Yes, and
so you've got FIFA.
FIFA is a huge offender of this.
You got like the Madden games and all those.
PES, NFL. Whatever
just
any hockey one is.
NBA 2K
has got it now as well. UFC 1 did, but 2 does.
Actually, 2K18.
No, I just want to shout out to 2K16 being the best NBA game of forever.
Sure.
These are
don't know?
I haven't played it. Don't touch me. Get.
These are all. The thing is with these sort of sports games, right? Is that they are ripe for the games as a service concept, right? You don't build FIFA 17, 18, 19. You build FIFA, and then in 6 years after you've done, here's the new roster updates, here's the new content updates, here's the new players. Funny thing, in 6 years, when you go, all right, we're doing like a big relaunch of the engine or something, then you might release a new one.
Yeah. So I think I'm kind of defending sports games a little bit here, is the fact that prior to games as a service being a thing, sports games specifically have always had that kind of yearly, because they follow the seasons of real life and whatnot.
They update stats, and they do, because this is in a time before you could do
post-launch patches.
Yeah, exactly right. So it made sense when they were doing yearly releases previously,
but now
it doesn't, because it has live feed.
The internet exists.
This player is injured. You can no longer use him in the game. This player is in bad form. So in game, they will be in bad form.
Really?
It absolutely.
That's really cool. That's actually really cool.
Can you imagine how
real life
with real life? So it is good enough to be able to go, I don't ever need to buy another FIFA, because this is, again, like you're saying, upgrading graphics, upgrading just the core functionality of it. Sure. But you can do that as part of patches. You can do that as part of upgrading.
Especially when
most others,
especially when they're starting to gate what was used to be core features behind paywalls.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you've completed the campaign mode. Congratulations, you've unlocked the, Manchester United uniforms, right? Yeah. Now it's like, hey, if you want the Manchester United uniforms, just pay $2.
Yeah.
I would say, the other one is,
sweet,
you've done this. Oh, you want to play in coach mode? That'll be $5, thank you.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah. So I think that there's a lot of games that have really fucked up the idea of games as a service, and have poisoned people against the idea of it, especially in the current climate. Like, people are just like, oh, games as a service, fuck you. Square Enix came out last week and were like, oh, by the way, games as a service. It's the fucking future, and we're going to implement it in every one of our flagpole, our tentpole releases. And everyone's just like,
"Oh,
what?" Are you like, the investors were like, "Fantastic, absolutely," because they can see how much fucking money it pulls in. And then they're just, but all the games are like,
no,
they're going to put it in Kingdom Hearts. Standalone single player games.
Okay, so
I'm not
going to let you finish. They already have put that in Final Fantasy 15. Oh, sorry that we didn't write you a proper end chapter. Here's end chapter Mark 2.
But
you want to get this guy's backstory. It's okay. You brought the game. We released this. for you
But
because you're still playing.
So here's the point
They're
again.
already doing it.
No, but that's post-content patches. That's not games as a service.
But here's the point again, though. I feel like there's a lot of similarities.
There are similarities, but they're like
the
this piece of
point
content,
here
here you go.
is, if they do it well,
Yeah.
go nuts. Like, if you want to do games as a service, create a service and make it a service. Keep updating that.
Look at GTA Online.
Yeah, you're creating service first, and you're saying we're creating this thing that people can do in perpetuity, and it's not like, oh, by the way, here's this game, and here's a map pack, and here's another map pack, here's another map pack, and now we're done with the game. Onto the sequel.
Yeah,
like that's not a service.
So I would, exactly.
And
right.
people
so
think
that's
it
the
is,
point,
and
right?
people are pushing
so
that, but it's not a
what
service.
Square Enix is doing is creating a game as a service, 100% behind it. If they're going, here's this franchise of games that we've been releasing for the past 20 years, and we're going to start calling it as game. It's not a service, and it's plain and simple.
This sort of problem, it sort of leaches into the esports spaces as well, right? Because you have games and gamers that are trying to focus on becoming, like a great esports person for a particular game.
Yeah.
So you look at stuff like Call of Duty, right? And they release a new game every year.
Yep.
Right? Brand new game.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm really good at, I don't know, Black Ops 2, but I can't play Advanced Warfare because, everything's changed.
Everything, yeah.
It's not my jam.
This one particular way that the physics engine worked doesn't jive with me.
Exactly.
Especially when they're made by, especially in Call of Duty's case, that every second time, like they
It's a
alternate
different
developers,
developer.
so they're using different engines, they're using everything different,
Exactly.
and you're just like, it's a fucking different game. It's Call of Duty in name fucking only.
And that's the thing.
Years.
And they're pushing them as esports, right? They're trying to say, oh, this is going to be the latest thing, right? But the thing is with soccer, like FIFA and stuff like that, soccer's rules, I mean, they change, but the core gameplay hasn't changed.
You can see why people like, hey, what games have worked on a competitive level?
Yeah.
Rocket League works on competitive level.
StarCraft.
League of Legends.
League of Legends. Overwatch.
Like
to a lesser extent, Team Fortress.
Fortress. All these games are a fucking
game
actual
as a
service.
There was one story you mentioned earlier on that made me laugh with regards to this.
Yes.
About how there's a financial analyst.
Yes. So there's a financial analyst that came out, I think it was only maybe a couple of days ago. Only a few days old. So, by the time this comes out, it might be about a week. Yeah. But, so a financial analyst came out and said, we're going to, their job was to evaluate the stock price and the valuation of Activision / Blizzard. And they said, okay, cool. Well, we actually think that the company is undervalued at the moment, and it's like basically good to buy because we think the valuation is going to rise. The reason we think this is because we think Diablo 4 is coming out in 2019 and Overwatch 2 is coming out in 2020. And I was like, Diablo 4, people have been really wanting that. It actually kind of makes sense from the release. I'd be like, pretty good assessment.
Yeah.
And Diablo 3 for the most part isn't really a game as a service. It's a game that you play, you finish, and that's pretty much it.
And like there's PvP and stuff, but it's a finite game.
Yeah.
But I was like, Overwatch 2, huh? 2020. Bold assumption. Very bold
Making
assumption.
the call now.
All right, so
I don't think that means the game's only gonna be like what 3 years old.
Did it only come out in
4?
Yeah, I was gonna say
it'll be 3 years old when they announce it in 2019. That's the thing.
See, if it was 2022 and it was a 5-year cycle for Overwatch, and let's just say they've worked it out so you keep your skins because they're tied to your Blizzard account. Bucket of how much I care, nil. $70 every 5 years, fucking sweet.
That's fine.
And that's kind of where I'd be with like a Team Fortress 3, right? Like big air quotes there. If they were like, we're like Team Fortress is running on Source, it's old, we want to rejig it, and all your shit's going to come across, and we're going to rebuild it on Source 2. I think that's the only way that they could potentially.
Listen. The core component of the game is just untenable. We can't really fight any further. We want to start from scratch. I'd be like, okay.
Well, because like Source has, sorry if I may, Source has certain restrictions on stuff like server size. You can only have 32 players in a match.
Also on resolution of textures.
Yeah, resolution of textures and stuff. There's there are downsides. There's a reason why they built Source 2 in the first place, right? However, they've come out maybe 2 years ago and said, Team Fortress Source 2 is not in its future. That we as of yet. But if they wanted to, if in 10 years, well, not 10
there
years,
better be a good reason if they're going to rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be that sort of...
We just want to make 2.
So
for money.
here's my take on this. Even if they rebuild, I wouldn't call it a Overwatch 2 or TF3.
No,
it would still be Overwatch or TF2, but they've just reworked the same game. The core mechanics would still be the same. It's just the underlying infrastructure that will be upgraded.
If I was them, I wouldn't even call it Team Fortress 2. I'd go as far as to say, like, we're going to call this just Team Fortress.
Team Fortress. So the fact that it's already a service, even if there's going to be a major upgrade or change, that service carries on. For the end user, it's not going to change unless so for me to say
there might be 2 separate things. Hey, this is Overwatch 2, whole new roster, all different people.
Exactly. That's my point, right? If it's going to be Overwatch, if it's going to be Overwatch 2, if it's going to be Overwatch 2, it needs to be a new game effectively. It has the same
what's very
backstory and world and everything, but it has to be a different shift in dynamic.
I don't think they could get away with.
They wouldn't
wouldn't. They've spent what 6 years developing the backstory for Overwatch or some bullshit.
So this is a very interesting thing of what they've done here. So like I think the analysts came up with maybe the idea of Overwatch 2, just maybe either regular game cycles or even they came up with it because there was I think it was an interview for with Jeff Kaplan, who is the Overwatch creative director.
Yeah.
And he said that, I'm going to paraphrase this because I'm just remembering off the top of my head, that like they were asked about PvE mode in Overwatch. And he said, well, that's really a really interesting idea. And we've actually been talking about that kind of thing. And like this such lore and backstory that
it's not obviously out of the question.
It's totally different from the PvP because like they have heroes and villains and stuff, but when you're playing PvP, you just fight each other.
Just fighting everyone, everyone.
And there's no sides. But he said, well, the PvE would be like
an actual story,
utilizing the lore and everything. And so someone said, well, like kind of thing is a PvE mode coming to Overwatch, and they said, well, it's something we've been talking about. It's not something we're looking to implement because we're currently focused on PvP. But it could be something for a future Overwatch game. So people thought Overwatch 2, and I thought, wait, that doesn't. This could be Overwatch, and this could be like a new game that's set in the Overwatch universe.
It's
that is a PvE third-person shooter.
It's the difference between Warcraft and World of Warcraft.
Exactly. And I was like,
or Warcraft and Hearthstone.
If someone said, hey, there's
Lord of the Rings, Shadow of War.
If there's a PvE, or not even like a PvE, but like a first-person shooter campaign Halo-style game.
Yeah.
Where
you're using Overwatch characters
and pick like each has a set of mission, a run of missions,
like a storyline.
A storyline like Tekken.
Yeah, almost
Tekken story. They all enter the King of Iron Fist tournament.
You know what?
But I'm not.
I'm gonna let you. No, I'm not gonna let you finish. Have I ever talked to you about Tekken lore? We'll save this for another time.
We have talked Tekken
But
lore.
I can show you a goddamn timeline, and I've studied it. Like I've studied the goddamn scriptures. And it makes less sense.
The thing is, the only thing you got to remember is with the Tekken storyline is that all the other backstories are non-canon except for like Heihachi and like Jin and.
No. There's several games where all endings are canon.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
they tie them in, but I mean like the official like if you want to keep your head screwed on straight canon is just
the
Mishima
family.
This one like because they'll be like, hey, in the last one, and same with Dead or Alive as well. They'll be like, okay, all those cutscenes you watched, all of them consist of that character winning, and Mortal Kombat does as well. Yeah. This cat in fiction. This character won the last game. And this character won, and this is how it affected the world.
And in Tekken,
everyone can't win.
And in Tekken, it's always Heihachi, Kazuya, or Jin.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's like they win the King of Iron Fist tournament.
So basically, the first few is like Kazuya overthrows Heihachi.
Yeah.
Let's not get into this now, please.
Kazuya. Jin kills both of them.
No, let's not do this right now.
No,
please.
Let's stop.
But I haven't even gotten to the volcanoes.
Shut the fuck up.
Ben, stop.
So
we are gonna wrap up our topic.
Yeah. I just wanted to say before as well with the games as a service stuff is that oh my god, I totally blanked on it. But yeah, so
Overwatch 2 PvE.
So basically we can get our fucking cake and eat it too. And I don't know what you guys think about like putting in fucking Overwatch 2 as another PvP game or how
I would love to see them do Overwatch the PvE experience.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would love to see
a standalone game. I'd be fine.
Standalone game. It's a single player campaign.
But it's not Overwatch 2.
But it's not Overwatch 2. And in fact, if the people go, where's the PvP in this game? You turn around and go, play Overwatch.
Play Overwatch.
You play Overwatch. That's what Overwatch exists for, man. Go play Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it is now time for us to jump into our list of 2017.
What?
Okay. Ben, I'm going to let you drive this one because this was your idea.
Well, I was going to be a dick, say Carl's, and then throw it at Adam and like loop back around. So we're going to do that.
Cool, so very quick rundown. We're just going to go through a list of...
We've got some
topics. Do you want to go through the topics first?
I will pull it up because I've already forgotten them.
Okay. And I reckon that so we all have our own choice, and we might spend some time
explaining why
and
discussing
and seeing if we can find a winner of everyone.
Sure.
If we can convince each other
to back our claim.
To be like, oh no, you know what?
We're going to start be like, I throw 3 behind black,
and then we can take a vote.
Okay, so let's do this.
I also just want to throw out that content updates. Fair game.
Yeah, they do get their own section.
Good.
Because
that's not game. That can't be game of the year.
No,
but
no.
It's its own section.
That's what I mean.
We do have.
We have a section for it.
So what's the section,
All right,
Ben?
let us begin.
So, best new,
Yes.
best re-release, the old game you got around to,
Okay. Yep.
worst game, wild card, and because I'm feeling zesty, we'll throw DLC in there as well.
Okay. Sure.
Carl didn't quite give me all of that.
Well, no. I think the thing is, I think we'll have a few nominations that kind of run the same.
But we can work it through. So Carl wants to
We'll do the first one first. So what's the first topic?
the first one is best new game.
Best new game. Okay.
And from that list, he hasn't put a new game on here. So we'll go for re-release, and his best re-release was Wonder Boy.
Okay.
On the Switch.
Yes, I remember him playing that. We played through it together.
Yeah, and great game. Highly
I
recommend
actually
it.
quite enjoyed that.
It's on every platform, if I remember correctly. Good Metroidvania. Old game he got around to, not on the list. Worst game was...
we should probably do it one at a time.
No, I'm doing Carl's list.
Carl's list.
Smash through
And
Carl's
then
list.
we're going to throw through, throw down after that.
One each one. Okay.
His worst game was Ultra Sun and Moon, because it was exactly Sun and Moon.
Okay.
He was pleasantly
agree with that.
surprised by the Switch and its actual content library. And shout out to his 3 editions of Final Fantasy Stormblood for new content, WoW, and Hearthstone, Kobolds, and Catacombs.
Okay. Cool.
So
that's a pretty solid list there.
Yeah, it's a solid
I've
list.
played none of those games, but it's a solid list.
you didn't play Ultra Sun and Moon?
No.
Do I need to get? I have some
I
copies.
don't fucking want it. I don't like that. I can agree with Carl because I looked at it and was like, pass.
I don't want the
Hard
same
pass.
game. Yeah.
But it has Team Rocket in it.
I don't care.
I have not played a Pokemon game in years now.
X and Y was the last one you played.
You
I
borrowed
play
that.
X1?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You borrowed
Yeah.
that.
I know. We learned to
On Pokemon on Switch, I'm waiting for when they go. Oh, by the way, there's Pokemon Switch game coming in. There's also Ultra Sun and Moon. I was like, well, guess what? I'm not fucking buying.
Yeah.
Waiting for fucking
All right.
Pokemon Switch coming next year.
So,
Round
Adam.
table.
Okay, cool. Best game of the year. Best new game.
best new
Best
game.
new game. Okay, so I kind of had a bit of a toss up with this one. And I
Sorry,
kind of
can I just jump in?
yes.
Is this best game that we've played or best game that
Yeah.
we think?
So
I feel like you'll need to have
Well,
played it to be able to.
no.
It's our best game, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's your best
and,
game.
and we can
Best
probably
game.
have another one as well, which is like the game that's impacted gaming.
Yeah, so we can
It
have
could be like-
goatee later.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So my favorite game of the year for me was Mario Odyssey.
Nice.
And it was almost gonna be my wild card as well because I fucking slept on this game so hard. When it was coming out, there's all the reporting and people getting hyped for it,
And you were just like,
and everyone was going fucking nuts every time a trailer would come out for it, and I was like,
Meh.
To be honest, I've never personally owned a Mario game.
You sicken me.
I've never personally owned.
You didn't even have
Super
like.
Mario
To be
Maker?
fair, he was never a Nintendo person.
Wait, you didn't even have
growing up.
Mario Land
so-
on the Game Boy?
So nope.
that's my Super Mario.
I
game.
know
some,
you did.
I had some on emulator, but I'm not counting that because
That's not owning it.
Or like I think there was a pack, some I can't remember what it was, but there was like a thing where you play. I've played through stuff. Was it Retron or no?
Yeah, maybe.
There was some stuff that I've played through before. Like I've
But you
played
never
Mario
owned
games
your own.
before,
Yeah.
but I've never owned
Mario
my
Kart
own
and
Mario
all
game.
those jazz. Yeah.
Never
yeah.
owned
Fair
one.
enough. Fair enough.
Or like no, sorry, a mainstay Mario title.
So you never had a 64 because
I did
you
have,
could
I
not.
know, I did have a 64.
You had a 64 without a Mario game.
I had
How?
a 64, and the 64 had Smash Brothers, Link to the Past.
Banjo-Kazooie?
No.
Donkey Kong Country.
No.
Fuck.
I had like
007?
4 games on. I didn't have that.
You may as well have not had a 64, my friend.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
hell? Come on,
I missed out on a lot
I
of
bought a
games.
3DS for Pokemon,
Yeah.
and I got
I
given
had
Smash.
I had Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon Stadium, I'll allow.
No, so like, yeah, I didn't have a lot of games on that. But the thing is, I got that as a, I think I won in a competition or something.
And it came with the games, and then you never really got anything
Yeah, because I had
beyond that.
PlayStation 1, and I
Yeah.
mainly played that and had for Smash, basically.
Oh,
Smash
man.
people.
Yep.
But yeah, so like coming from this, I was like, yeah, cool. I mean, it's a Mario game. Doesn't look like. I mean, it's got some fun mechanics, whatever. And especially after this is my favorite game of the year because it's just fun. It's just the funnest game that I got my hands on, and it's got like the collectibles don't drag. Like there's a lot of them, but you feel rewarded for getting them. It's not like even like Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong Country of those old school where you're just like you're just grinding through it, just being like, I just got to get this fucking thing, and then I'm done. I'm like, it's so much fun to go through in post game. The mechanics are tight. It's an interesting kind of story, enough so that to keep you playing. And I think in the current climate of, as we've been talking about, games as a service and companies trying to nickel and dime you out of every single thing, like I was just like, thank you God.
Like a nice,
It's
refreshing.
just a $60 game or
yeah.
$80 game in
Well,
Australia. Whatever.
Yeah, but honestly as well, and for that reason, Breath of the Wild came really close as well. Because for the exact same reasons, as Mario Odyssey, but I just felt like I had more fun with Mario Odyssey than Zelda. That's just personal preference. They're both fucking great.
Knowing that Link gets a motorcycle in the newest DLC, does this change your opinion?
Oh no, I'm going back. The thing is, like, I'm definitely going back. But after a while, like, I got through. Like, I still haven't finished Link to the Past because I started playing other games here and there. I'm like 75% of the way through, but I was like, I'll play
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Sorry, Breath of the Wild. So I was like, I'll pick this up later. Where Mario,
Odyssey,
I have
just, like,
not fucking put
haven't
it
put it
down
down.
since I've got it. It's been that in Destiny, and that's all I've been doing. And
Okay.
it's great.
That's
absolute game of the year for me.
all right. Shall we move on to Ryan?
Sure. I think seeing as it's like we were saying, it's games that I've played. The best game of this year that I've played has been Sonic Mania, and that's just because it ticks all of the nostalgia factors for me. It's like it is a fun Sonic game. It's 2D. You run around. Things feel clean. It feels
really good.
It feels really good playing it. It's just a ton of fun.
It's Sonic.
It's Sonic.
It's the Sonic that you've wanted. It's the Sonic you've wanted for the past 20 years.
That was my top 5 of the year, too,
just-
for sure. Definitely top 5.
Shoot me up with that Sonic, baby.
And that's all I can really say. If you were a fan of old Sonics and you were looking at Sonic Mania and you're like, honestly, I'd say just go out and get it. It's like what, like $30 on Steam, if that. Just get it. It's good.
And it also has the one exclusive mode we've been waiting for
Knuckles
years.
and Knuckles.
Knuckles and Knuckles.
You can play 2-player, one of you or both of you as Knuckles.
That's
so
great.
good.
So for me, and this is purely because I haven't really played anything new all that much, or a lot of new stuff. Well, not even purely. It does stand on its own rights anyway. Would have to be Breath of the Wild. Simply because, and I haven't played the game through. Like, I've effectively only played what we played on the channel.
I was going to say,
Welcome to the open world exploration experience.
You're the dude that doesn't have the Switch in
finished
his channel,
I
and
don't have a
your
Switch.
game is a Switch game, which says something about how fucking great this game
You're
is.
just like, yes.
I loved
I will
that
say-
game.
I mean, when we get around to me, I have something to say about that, but go on.
Okay. But part of the reason I think I loved it so much was because we played it collectively. Not if I would absolutely love it on my own, but I generally enjoy playing games with a group or collectively.
Sorry.
But we gave Carl so much shit playing through that playthrough, and it was just fun.
I have a screen grab on my phone from Carl, and he's going to be mad. I think I spoke about this on the channel before. And he sent me a message being like, you know that one bit where I jumped off the tower and you and Bin gave me grief. Do you know what just happened?
I just did it again in my own game.
You didn't even have to troll me. I just fucking jumped off. And you know what's funny as well? I was actually, because Carl didn't write it down, but he was telling us before about his 2 favorite games as well. And they were also Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's really funny that you're like, I love Breath of the Wild because we played as a group. And Carl's like, I fucking hated that playing with you guys. But when I played it by myself, I was like, this game's fucking great. It's so good.
You guys are the worst people I know.
It is
the
a
game's
fantastic
good.
The game's
game.
great.
It is absolutely a fantastic game, and I would love playing it on my own. But I generally just love like multiplayer games, couch co-op stuff, and the fact that we played this one single player game, but collectively that had that little extra bit for me.
There's been so many zesty games this year. There's been so many amazing random releases because, like, not to be a braggart, but I'm pretty sure I like sampled the most games from the like game pile of the year type thing. There's
I think so.
so much.
I missed all the PS4 titles, unfortunately.
Can I add a category for the best game that released this year that I haven't played yet?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. I actually have
Dawn of War 3. I bought it.
That's out there?
It was out. It came out like
ages.
March or May, and I bought it. I was like, because I was so hyped. I'm like, yes, it's finally an RTS again. And then I just didn't play it.
Just tell me how it is when you played it.
Yeah, well,
maybe you can put a review of it.
Okay, if it's
that's unfortunate. That's not a good game then, really. If you're like,
No.
I bought it, I'm so excited. I'm good now.
Because you know what happened? I played Dark Crusade again in order to get back into the swing of things, and by the time it came out, I was like,
I'm done now.
I don't want to play this anymore.
I've done that. I've been through that.
If it's any consolation, I haven't played Persona 5 or Injustice 2. Both games I'm hyped to shit about, and still am hyped about. I just don't have the time.
Do you know Persona 5 is RPG of the year?
Yeah,
the game, the Game Awards.
Yeah.
RPG
of the
Persona
year.
5 is RPG of the year.
And that's the thing.
So it's good.
That was the same with me with Assassin's Creed.
Anyway, next.
Same thing. I had 3 Assassin's Creeds, played one, played through. I was just like,
yeah.
I'm good.
So, don't worry. Despite all this, there's a lot of games, a lot of good games we don't get to.
yeah.
But out of all the games that I've played this year, there's been one game in particular that I feel compelled to finish, but not pressured to finish.
Girls at the Playboy Mansion?
Galgun 2. No.
No.
And surprise, surprise, it's Mario fucking Odyssey.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Calm down,
My
boys.
man.
That game,
Yeah.
it's everything I wanted. It's so good.
What about Mario versus Rabbids? No one's going to mention that.
That was a great underdog game this year. It was really good.
Yep.
I mean, you haven't played it yet, have
What's
you?
this?
Mario X Rabbids.
No, I haven't. I play.
It gets Ben's stamp of approval.
And
I'm
honestly,
going to be interested to play it. I love XCOM, so I'm going to like
the way
that,
you've
so.
described Odyssey, it gives I haven't played it yet, but it gives me the same impression of what I got when I played
Like Mario 64.
And
And
it's
that's
a thoroughly in-depth and thorough game.
Oh, it is.
It is
So well
enjoyable the entire way through and solid. Like,
I would
it's
say-
a shitty ending, very shitty ending, but a solid story the whole way through.
But to be honest, though, it has moments where I'm like, camera's janky. Some of the puzzles are a bit fucking
yeah, it's
annoying.
not gonna be perfect,
Like,
right?
it's not a perfect game, but even in those moments where I'm like, oh, that's a bit annoying, I'm
You're
still
still
having
enjoying
fun.
it. You're still
I'm not,
enjoying
but
it.
then there wasn't a point where I'm like, oh, this just fucking sucks. It takes all the fun out of it.
even at the hardest moments, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's still
And
cool.
The other thing that I love about Mario Odyssey, which is unusual for a Mario game, is the loose as fuck control scheme. You can do whatever, like...
You can change things up as you want.
Oh my god, I've like shaved off 2 minutes on a time run because I'm like, hey, I wonder if I long jump then with a backflip and then
Oh, like the
cap throw jump,
free,
cap throw
the
leap.
free running things.
Like, I got something down to 20 seconds, which is meant to take 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my new game of the year.
Next category, please.
So it's the re-release, and then I'm going to be annoying and be the wheel on this one, so we got to go back around that way.
Also, I'm going to put that out there that I think that 2 out of 4, I think we can claim this.
oh yeah,
Mario Odyssey
No,
game of the
honestly,
year.
And
without a doubt.
honestly, this is kind of where I was like, it's one of those games that has even like surprised me. Like, I haven't played it, I've seen it being played,
like,
and I'm
whoa.
like, that looks interesting.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, I think as a
Quality.
platforming guy,
Yeah.
I think you really enjoy it. And the
Quality
collecting...
Gosh darn, if I only had a Switch.
You're not getting one for Christmas.
No, I'm not. I'm probably gonna get one when the Pokemon game comes out, and then
you two got to get one, and then we'll fucking complete the set.
Get on the Switch bandwagon.
So my re-release of the year, which I always get I get a bit antsy. So like HD remaster. Okay, right. Yep. You know, it's now available on another platform. Blah blah blah.
Skyrim, right?
Yeah, like Skyrim is a great example. You can now play.
That just won't die.
You can now play it on your Commodore 64, boys. My re-release of the year has been Windjammers.
Yeah.
Well, Windjammers, for those of you who don't know, you should know, is basically get Pong, and like competitive frisbee, basically. Mm-hmm. Give it Street Fighter controls. Go.
Okay.
It is zesty and awesome, and I have a physical copy in the mail, and I will share it with you guys.
It's not... Oh, sorry, that's called Lethal League. I'm thinking of Lethal League.
Similar concept.
Okay, cool. Lethal League's fun.
Okay. Yeah, Lethal League is great. You know how there was this...
It's actually got re-released too, I think.
Yeah, it did. So that's my one, which is, I know, a bit flick scarf. How you doing?
I don't have a re-release. Simply because I haven't played a re-release in ever. But I will tell you one game that I am dying. I will wait 50 years for a re-release for Seiken Densetsu 3. If there was to ever new platform re-release it, I would drop everything. I would quit my job if I had to and play that goddamn game.
Hey, Ben, do you want the good or the bad news?
Yeah, I give both.
Seiken Densetsu has a re-release.
Of the same as like the re-release of 3?
Yes.
Tell me more.
It's on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
It's in Japanese though.
He's like, I can deal with that.
Dude, I played through a Dragon Ball Z game from scratch, all in Japanese, and just worked it out and completed the entire game. Unlocked the alternative ending where you go Super Saiyan as Goku and Vegeta. All in Japanese. I can deal with this.
Okay, he's even learning Japanese. He's fine.
Okay, so we're 4 for 4 on Switches.
Yeah, right. Everyone's getting one.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
So I wanted to. I have 2. But I'm just gonna say one's the runner-up and the other one's my winner. So
motherfucker! I forgot about that.
What was that?
Sorry, no. You just do your thing.
Obviously.
So the runner-up was Crash Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy.
Is it only runner-up because of the pillboxes?
Yeah, it's pretty much runner-up because whilst it was a remake and whilst it was pretty and amazing and cheap for what for 3 games, right? Some of the changes they made to the way hitboxes work made it a lot jankier and a lot more precise with the controls.
Yeah.
For example, there's a turtle enemy which you can bounce on. Which was originally a rectangle hitbox and is now like an oval, so you can slip off. So it kind of defeats the purpose. There's a lot of levels that are made harder or worse because of that.
Yeah.
We even experienced that because we played both back to back, and then we were like, "This is way easier." What the fuck?
Yeah,
that goddamn bridge.
and the best game re-release of this year, StarCraft.
Oh, shit, what up?
Release.
Oh, shit, what up? Did you forget that came out this year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm still standing by Windjammers.
Yeah, so...
That's a good one.
Yeah, honestly, like...
It's free?
It's
it's
not free. The old version's free.
And 2 is free.
And 2 is... Well, the first... Yeah. Yes. Yes, it's free. But the HD remaster of StarCraft is not free.
No.
The 4K HD remaster. No.
Sure.
But it's sexy. The controls are good. It feels like StarCraft with... like the best facelift.
The
you could like. Well, no, it's not just a facelift though. That's the thing. Like,
not just a facelift.
Like, it's not. The thing is, it's not just HD remaster and call it a day. There's stuff
clean things up.
There's stuff that you wouldn't even expect to be fixed. Like they've added a way to zoom in and out of the map, like on an RTS, because StarCraft was built at the time where that wasn't possible.
Where it was just like, this is all we can do, people. Deal with it.
Just live with this 4x4 grid of 1 pixel.
Or when you zoom in, it's just one grey block. And you're like, that's what we got. That's what we got.
Hey, we told you, okay? We warned you.
Yeah. Obviously, all the modern accompaniments, better online multiplayer support, better LAN support, all those fun things.
That's great.
I love it.
Fair.
See, this might be what eventually gets me to play StarCraft.
Yeah. I do highly recommend it. And I keep saying this. I'm going to bring it up right here so it's on camera. I'm going to make you play the co-op version with me. I know you don't like RTSs that much.
I like them. I'm just bad at it. I'm just criminally... People are like, oh, you're really bad at games. There's me being bad on camera on a game I'm kind of familiar with and how to play. Then there's me being bad at RTS, which is just so criminally bad. Yeah. It's so abysmally shit.
The thing is, for single player, you don't need to be good. And for the co-op version, it's like I can sort of carry.
He can carry you.
Sure.
So, Adam.
So, what's your mine actually is not a game, but a collection of games. Because mine is definitely the SNES Mini.
Nice.
So I think the reason I'm giving it this is because I think that they fixed from a production side. They made more available units and they listened to their fucking user base. And they're like, oh man, maybe we should make more of these because it's really popular. Even more popular than the NES Mini.
They were still short.
But they've announced that the SNES Mini and the NES Mini is going, both of them are back into production.
Good.
And I'm like, thank you. They made the control length better. They made all these things better. The game collection on it is fucking awesome. It's like, I've been playing Mega Man X, which is just so goddamn good. And I've also been playing Final Fantasy IV, which is also... Oh, Final Fantasy... Well, sorry, 6. Probably 6. And it's 6. And it's fucking great. And I was like, oh my God. I don't need a facelift. I was like, I didn't even need these. I was just like...
And on top of that, it marks the first official release of Star Fox 2, is it?
2, yep. And a whole bunch of cool shit. I haven't even played all the games yet, but it's so good. And when my fucking internet goes down because the NBN just decided to turn off, and my Xbox is like, hey, you can't connect to play any games.
You can't do shit.
And at this point, I don't know why I couldn't play my Switch, but I was like, I can't be bothered. And I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? Fucking turn on the SNES Mini. Don't need no shit for that. Just powers to the back of your TV. Off I go.
Good old gaming.
So good. So good.
Are we up to our next
So are we going to declare a clear winner here?
I don't feel like there is a clear winner.
I think we've all had a pretty...
It's been quite dispersed.
And I think... honestly, I love the SNES
and
Mini.
Each of them have had good reasons.
I'd actually go with any of you guys and saying what you guys had as a suggestion as well.
So...
As quality...
I have a sneaking suspicion this and your next choice will be tied to each other. What old game did you actually get around to playing this year?
Ooh.
I think you all know what mine is.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, probably.
He's played that before, hasn't he?
Probably.
Well, I played...
Does it matter if you've never...
I've only played the first hour to the first 2 hours of Final Fantasy. Like, pretty much the prologue and reasonably early on in. Yeah, I was playing that. Actually, no, you know what? What I'm going to do? I'm going to change this up a little bit because it's a funny story behind it. And I didn't really play too many old games that I didn't get around to playing. Like, I'd played them already.
Yep.
The game that I played the most that was an old game was the place... now, Ben will know exactly where I played all my time on this.
I already know.
Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, I knew that's where you were going as soon as you started saying it.
The reason being is because... So I've played this game before, like, you know, it's not something that's like I finally got around to it.
It's not even a good game.
It's great. I don't know, dude. I just played it. It's good. The reason I played it was because my wrist was broken in Japan for 2 whole weeks.
4 days into the trip.
5 days.
5 days into the trip, sorry.
And I couldn't do anything. So when these guys were going off skiing, I was watching... so my quintessential Japanese skiing experience was sitting in my hotel room. I watched all of Death Note.
Through Death Note.
And I played like about 30 hours
of
Final Fantasy
and
7.
Do you know
it was fantastic.
I was going to say, you talk about going skiing as fun, and I'm like, no, that's my holiday.
Oh, it was so good. It was like, I'm just giving it that for my nomination because it was like,
it was iconic for this year.
So I can't back up that story. Unable to verify. Well, no. I mean, like coming after that story, I think that wins it. But I've been playing Age of Mythology this year,
pretty religiously. I've noticed
this year, right? Because I bought. There's actually a good candidate for HD release, but it wasn't HD released this year. It was a couple of years
like
back.
AoE 2.
Yeah. So Yeah, I played through the story again. Got sort of back into the swing of things. I even bought the new HD versions DLC, and I played that. That's the Chinese campaign and stuff. Chinese
it's so good.
Nice.
It's actually fun. I was really enjoying it. And then a couple of my friends and I started having a few like LAN parties and LAN nights and stuff, so we were playing it there as well. So that would be my old game that I've been playing this year.
Cool.
Sweet.
Okay. So for me, mine's not quite that old. It's not Final Fantasy 7 or Age of. Do you know where I'm going?
I'm gonna.
You know exactly where I'm going.
5?
God no, that's just, no.
Shadow of Mordor. Fuck me, yeah.
Shadow of goddamn Mordor.
Didn't you start playing that this year? Was that the first time you played it?
It was this year.
Oh fuck! It was. Oh,
It was
such a good game.
Oh my god.
Why haven't you gotten?
Oh my god.
Have you got the new one yet?
I haven't gotten Shadow of War yet.
No.
No.
Buy second hand. Don't give them their money for their goddamn game as a service.
Game as a service.
Actually,
loot
I'm a bit
boxes.
of a fan.
That's the
of
thing
that.
though, like if I was to get Shadow of War,
Not
I
nearly as
wouldn't
bad, but-
I'm not gonna touch the microtransactions. I don't
Yeah,
give a
but
shit if it slows me down. I'm just playing the game for the sake of the game. But anyway, old game that is absolutely been my favorite.
That game's hot shit.
That
It's
is
awesome.
with like honestly, I was gonna put it as my top game if it wasn't for the fact that it's older than this
Older
year.
than this year. It's pretty good, hey. The Nemesis system's a revolution.
It's just,
so
I
good.
love it.
It's so good.
I've always loved the Lord of the Rings storyline,
Yeah.
like in general, like that.
And like
kind of backstory to it,
The
and
dodgy
then-
fan fiction is even better.
Of course. So bringing in that mechanic of the battle system, the fighting system, I absolutely love. You have the Ranger mode and the Wraith mode that you kind of switch in between to kind of just destroy shit. And then you've got the Nemesis system, which kind of brings a whole new dynamic to the entire game. And that it all just ties in really, really well. Like I just love the
Absolutely.
crap out of that game.
I'm changing my vote. I'm absolutely voting for Shadow of Mordor now. Vince mentioned
So that's
it.
without a
But
doubt.
did you play it this year?
No. I'm just saying, like, if we have to, we have to,
Yeah,
like,
you
if
compete.
we have to
Backing it.
compete off everyone. That game fucking rules.
My one's another very entertaining trend for this year.
Yeah.
Warcraft 3.
Yeah, actually, you have been playing that.
I
I just remember like you're like, oh, I've been playing Warcraft 3. I'm like, why?
Why? So I was super hyped for a Hearthstone expansion coming out, so I wanted to go learn the context and the lore behind it. I went and fucking played Warcraft 3. Holy shit, that's a good game.
It's a good game.
It's like, I mean no offense by this, it's like Age of Empires, but better with hero.
It's kind of like StarCraft actually, because it's the same engine.
It's the same
with-
engine, same
with hero
RTSE.
units and
Yeah, that's what I really liked about it actually, because I had played Warcraft, World of Warcraft 1 and 2 previously, and then 3 comes along and you're just like,
this is
you
nice.
have a hero, you have one main character, but then you still have the
See, and considering my background in RTSs is like CNC and AoE, this was just like sweet.
and
Well,
it balances really well.
That's why it spawned Dota.
Yeah,
You know, it's-
and my other fun fact from it was like, which Dota hero am I playing as today?
yeah, exactly right, because you're going through the story and it's like, yeah.
Oh, so this is who Omni Knight is. Nice. So that's my one.
So can I also give an honorary shout out to the pandemic 2005 Battlefront 2 that everyone hopped on Steam and started upvoting it as the best Battlefront game ever.
Also,
just in recent climate, I think that deserves a shout out. A lot of people went, hey, you know what I'm going to pick up this year? The actual Battlefront 2.
that game is genuinely amazing.
And that game is actually the best Battlefront game that's ever been released. It's
Yeah,
fucking
enough.
amazing. That's my recommendation if you're like, what should I go play this year of an old game? You go fucking
Battlefront 2.
enjoy that one.
And if you're in a Star Wars mood, Pod Racer.
Star Wars Pod Race is a fucking great game.
64.
Now
It's
that's
so
fun.
That's such a
Now
good
this,
game.
Okay.
so my worst game of the year.
Worst.
Worst, as in, like, this is not. Okay, clearly, guys, preface this. The worst game of the year is Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah, this is categorically. It's categorically
this is
the worst.
games that we've played.
Almost, I like to think of this as most disappointing games. For us.
Yes. Okay.
And-
Mine's a disappointing title. It's not the worst game, but it's definitely disappointed
And
me.
once again, this is a new title because otherwise this would be International Track and Field.
That game is great.
I love that
We're
game.
making references to a video that hasn't come out yet, but it's fucking great, and I'll hear nothing about it.
When it comes out,
It's the best.
you get
can you imagine playing that when it first came out? And the thing is, I feel like all games like that are exactly like that, because you would play a game and go, it is not telling me shit about how to play this. I will play for 5 hours, finally work it out, and then smash through it.
Well, the funny thing was as well, we had the booklet. It's not like, oh, you know, you just have a random disc. Like,
We had everything.
We had the fucking case and the booklet. We're into the booklet being like, this tells us nothing.
This
You're
is
welcome.
It gives
There's
you
no
nothing.
option. There's no story.
Work
It's just
it out,
like,
bitch.
off you go. Learn how to run.
But sorry,
Continue.
go on.
So my one is actually one that Adam's gonna hate me for bringing up, but it was Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah, we have different opinions on this one. I actually like that game.
To me, campaign wasn't long enough.
It was pretty
Campaign was a bit easy. There are things with movesets that are the same. You didn't run into that? You didn't play every character then?
Depends. I've played most characters, but I've just gravitated towards the ones I like the most.
Yeah.
So,
So,
and they've all been different. Like one, like a flying axe and a flying sword. And like they've all been different enough that I haven't really come across that too much.
and the real thing that got to me about that game the most is I do have a bit of a completionist urge in me. This is one game
You can't complete it.
I looked at the list of things I needed to
can't do it.
complete
It's
it,
like, nope.
and I'm like,
Put it down.
I would genuinely rather die. I don't want him to do it. I'm going to give the game to Adam.
No. Like the thing is, those Dynasty Warrior games, those Koei Dynasty Warrior games,
normally-
their completion lists are like
Just generally ridiculous.
generally like hundreds. I remember I owned Dynasty Warriors 4 on original Xbox.
Yeah.
I probably put about 100, maybe even close to 150 hours into that game. Got about 15% of the unlockables.
See,
yeah.
And a consistent, I'd play for an hour and get an unlock.
Yeah.
And it would be like, you
But-
just can't get all the weapons. You
See,
just can't do it.
some of them are achievable, like Zelda.
Yeah.
That is by far the ideal Tecmo Koei game.
Okay.
But
fair
that
enough.
was my. It's my.
And that what you just said about the Dynasty Warriors reminded me of Ninja Gaiden, where it's finished the entire game using only the Dragon Sword. You finished the entire game using only the flail.
No.
Finish the.
Nope.
That was a really bad implementation of
this.
achievements. That was
Yeah.
the worst implementation I've
Like,
seen. No one's going to
thank
do that.
you.
Bad
Finish- some people would.
If we're ever going to have a series or something where we talk about bad implementations of achievements, I'm your man.
Yeah.
I know, because I would say that I'm definitely an achievement hunter.
Oh,
right?
same.
So, like,
That's what
I've seen some really poor fucking achievements.
See, my favorite one, I think it was Ninja Gaiden, which is beat it on impossible without getting hit.
Yeah.
And you're just
You're
like,
get fucked.
this is Ninja Gaiden. No. Snap disc.
Okay, mine. I don't have a worst game simply because my games list has been quite narrow this year. I've pretty much stuck to just a handful of the same games. But what Xbox Live has given me an opportunity is like just try bits and pieces with gold, and you get a free game a month effectively.
Yep.
And Assassin's Creed, what's the stories one? It's like a 2D.
Oh, Unity.
Not Unity.
No, the one set in China.
No, sorry.
there's-
Well, Assassin's Creed China. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played that, and I was just like,
I played that because it was free games gold.
I played it because it was free, and I was just like, I want to like this, and I feel like it has like a nice style to it and everything. And then I was just like, I played through one level, and I was just like,
I played I played a few hours and got bored. I just got it because it has really easy achievements, and I was gonna grind out 1,000 points and be like done. But then I played through half of it and was like,
I'm bored.
I didn't give a fuck about the rest of the
you
achievements.
don't care
and for
about
me
it.
to stop caring about achievements that are easily obtainable, your game has to be pretty fucking boring. I'm sorry.
I've seen you play Sonic Fighters for achievements.
I played Sonic Fighters just to get a completion in it, and I did.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? This game bores me.
The reason is once you've played that first
Bad.
level, even that first level is repetitive as balls, but all the other levels,
like that.
It's just like I don't care about this anymore.
So
boring.
that does
I'm
deserve
done.
your that does
pretty
deserve a
disappointing.
worst mark.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have. Again, I'm kind of like been my
You guys
gaming.
are also positive, killing me.
No. I'm getting there. I don't have a disappointing game because I haven't really bought much this year, other than say Sonic Mania, right? So for me, I think the biggest thing is that I've been turned off a lot of games from this year based on stuff that's happening inside. Like we've just had a huge conversation about microtransactions and games as a service stuff. Like when Call of Duty World War II was announced, I was genuinely excited. I was like, oh, this actually sounds pretty cool. I might actually buy this. And then I heard all the shit they're going to do with microtransactions and loot boxes
on Normandy Beach.
And I was just like, like, and I got like a couple of my mates really into like World War II stuff, and they I think they bought it. I think James, I think you bought it.
I know what you're watching.
You know who you are. But I just couldn't do it. I looked at it, I rolled my eyes and ignored it. And that's kind of my summary for the year. Even like I looked at a lot of games and went,
no,
it's not for me.
I think this year was very polarizing. We had we had some really strong,
we had some amazing games,
great games pushing in the right direction. Even games that I didn't have because I don't have a PlayStation, like Horizon Zero Dawn, and there was a couple other like
Nier
Automata. There was a couple. There was some really good. Funnily enough, they're all single player experiences. And then they've been reviewed really well, and they're great pieces of art. And then now we're just like, what's shit? Mainly everything multiplayer has been not great. Let's be honest.
Well, admittedly, there has been some good multiplayer games this year.
There has been some great stuff as well. I don't want to trash everything.
PUBG, basically. PUBG is the good multiplayer game of this year.
Yes.
And second fiddle is Fortnite pretending to be PUBG.
Yeah, pretty much. So, okay.
Cool.
Thanks, so my most... I'm not going to call it the worst game because I did have fun playing part of it. Mm-hmm. So... And it sucks because I was kind of looking through like all the games that I own and all the videos that we did. And then I was like, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is the one. And it sucks because it's my favorite video that we've ever put out.
Yeah.
We've ever done. And it's For Honor.
For Honor. Yeah.
For Honor. Like
that was a massive disappointment.
Like, and people do shit on the storyline and be like, oh, it's a bit boring. I don't really like it. It's not my thing. I found it just repetitive. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and especially on harder difficulty modes.
Yeah,
shit's challenging.
Yeah,
it's not a walk in the park. And to me, it didn't feel at all like I was just playing a single player equivalent of the multiplayer.
No, absolutely not. And it was a great way to introduce you to the different characters and fighting styles.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It did drag on a little, but by the end of the single player, I was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm a little done with this.
I kind of got the impression
thoroughly enjoyed it.
That they did sort of like, so the game itself, they based it very heavily on how you would actually fight in those sort of like huge heavy armies and stuff.
In a simplified manner. Yeah, it did make sense. That's why when we played, Ben and I, we played it before, but immediately from picking up the game, we kind of knew what we were doing, just because like the whole idea of knowing like how lines to block and timing is something we know how to do in real life. So
I started playing the multiplayer for that quite thoroughly, and I absolutely loved it, but it did not scale. Like after the first month, you were playing people that had all this random shit. They would run up to you, swing once, you catch on fire, you're dead.
And they also had issues because that ended up happening in loot boxes and crates where people would spend a whole bunch of money and all of a sudden
just have better
you're
stuff.
fucked.
Straight up
you're
better stuff.
Absolutely fucked.
And higher levels, just better characters.
And the piece de resistance that ruined the game.
Architecture.
Motherfucking server architecture.
Yeah. So you know what? We're going to save on price and we're going to make it all P2P.
Yeah.
And you just like no dedicated servers. There were times where I would get in a game and it was like 80% because the host would bitch out and leave because he was losing. They just cancel the game.
Yeah.
And the game would drop.
And then the game would just end.
And you'd be like, what fucking world do we live in?
And
even
they don't even.
If I
they wouldn't even like in the old days of like Halo 2 and Halo 3.
I was going to say Call of Duty Modern Warfare,
which I played a shitload of Halo 3. It was one of my favorite multiplayer games.
Was pretty amazing.
Ever.
Yeah.
And
Halo 2 was better.
It was P2P. And whenever someone would drop, it would then go to black and then cycle through and reassign hosts and keep going.
Yeah.
This game
COD did the same thing.
Oh, host dropped, kick everyone. And you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
The most annoying thing for me though is I couldn't even play all the map types because I would try to queue into skirmish.
No one wanted to play.
It wasn't even. It would tell you it's like reasonable amount of people playing or this. could not connect for the life of me. I would leave it for like 10, 15 minutes. Never connected. There was just a handful of match types that I could play, and I was just like,
so disappointing because they had such a good,
it was a great game
idea. I think
the marketing was executed well.
The marketing was executed well. They actually had a good engine. I think the game was when we played the game. Together as a group, it was fun as fuck.
Yeah. See,
it was great.
It definitely gets the fighting gameplay seal of approval.
It was good.
It was a fantastic game,
and it had and also, as you said, it had enough depth to be like, okay, this works against this.
Yeah,
like
and
it wasn't just like a basic just fucking.
It wasn't
swing
just
at each
a run and swing. It was you could pick a character, get really good at that character. You could verse someone that's naturally better against you, but because you've practiced with this character, you could still work it out. You dodge, you do whatever you need to do.
Spacing, special features, poison daggers.
I think
it was fantastic.
They did such a good job, and because they shortchanged themselves and thought, hey, we'll cut one corner. How bad could it be? And
just destroyed the whole thing.
Blew up like people wanted to play this game. Yeah. And you couldn't have tried harder to turn them away from your own franchise.
Honestly,
and that was supposed to be
the beginning of the franchise
game. There was supposed to be a 2, it was supposed to keep going, and I don't think we'll see it.
I don't think so, but I hope so,
because I hope we do, and they fucking learn.
If they bring it back and say, "Hey, we've fixed all of these," everyone will just flock back on it.
I'll be there.
Absolutely flock right back onto it.
But they just need to fucking get their shit together. Like they can't cut corners, and you can't make your shit pay to win-esque.
Yeah.
By shoving things that dramatically change your gameplay in loot boxes.
Yeah.
Like it just. They couldn't have shot themselves harder in the foot.
I'm backing you on this game.
I'm going to go.
Disappointment.
I actually totally forgot about this. So I mean,
it fucking killed me because I really wanted to like it.
That is a fairly unanimous vote.
Okay, I'm going to step in, moderate a little bit, and say one more category.
No, this is the last This is the last category, and I was sitting here and I'm like, man, Adam's ranting a bit much. Don't you? That, like, when can I throw my pen at him?
Anytime.
Anytime.
You're welcome.
Right now. So hurt.
Last category, please.
So, Adam.
Yeah.
Bitch Tits McGee.
Yeah.
This is my favorite type of category.
Yeah.
What's your wild card? What is your X for X reason?
So this can be any game?
Anything for any reason. You just want a game shout out basically for what?
Okay.
Blah.
So
blah.
I want to...
Like your one...
So there was a very close...
You know what I'm going to go.
Yeah.
There was a very close one. I don't know if I'm going to give it to Sonic Forces. Because I love, like...
You love 3D Sonic.
I don't love 3D Sonic. I think it's a bad thing that has been implemented poorly. This isn't even a particularly good implementation, but it's a complete game. And I think it's so ridiculous that we've gotten to this point that we're like, good work, Sonic team. You finished the game. You finished the game, released it on deadline, and it wasn't broken. Like, to be honest,
not a great game.
Game's not perfect. Game's far from perfect. If I was giving it a critical score, it'd probably be like a 6 out of 10.
Wait, what? That's great. Let's compare it to the last decent Sonic game.
Sonic Mania?
No, 3D, mate.
Sonic 3D game.
Modern 3D Sonic game.
Generations?
Generations. And...
Lost World? No,
Boom?
Not Lost World.
No, Lost World was Boom.
No. The one on Wii that was actually not bad. It was like Mario Galaxy, but Sonic. Anyway, not important.
So what is your actual wild card?
Fuck it. Yeah, I'll go with Sonic Forces.
You'll leave it with Sonic Forces?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best game, but the thing is, I had fun.
Surprised.
I was super. I thought it would be an absolute festering shitfire, considering
it's Sonic history.
I thought that originally oh my god, they're just pandering. It's like the last
dying grasp
of breath, being like, oh my god, I'm trying to swim to the top of the surface. Please, Sonic fandom, help me.
Yeah, reach in and pull me out.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's just like, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be awful. And I'm like, the character creator is pretty fun.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's what saved it for him. His persona.
I know.
It's fun though. It's just enjoyable.
I feel like they still should have given the main character, your character, some voice lines.
Way more. They're like, the thing is, if you centered on that as a concept of your main character, but you played as Sonic for like 65%, 75% of the game, and I'm like,
why?
I want to play my main character. I want to.
You're invested in this character you've created. I could play my main character
the entire game, and I don't. If you said you're not playing a Sonic in this game, I'd be like, great,
sure.
Don't
I've
give
made
a shit.
Character. I'm running with it.
Fine.
Two things I reckon they should have done. Right. They should have made the story that you rescue Sonic at the end.
Yeah.
And then you have a challenge mode where you can play it as Sonic or Tails or whoever.
I would say I'll raise that to a third thing. They also should have made Crocs not a shoe option.
Best.
And maybe not the gamer hat.
Best.
Ryan, your wild card, please.
So, I mean, I think this one's going to be pretty obvious to people.
TF2 Pyro update.
Yeah, TF2 Jungle Inferno update is going to be my wild card. Yeah. Only because I was not hype. I was definitely in they're probably going to fuck this up camp for a long time, and especially because they were delaying it, and I was like, oh no, that means they're not ready. You know, they're going to fuck this up. Because we had a terrible update the year before. It definitely reduced the number of people playing Team Fortress.
Yeah.
The thing is,
especially with the Overwatch coming out, you're like, fuck, this is what we need.
Well, that's what happened, right?
They rushed more fucking pay.
They rushed it out in order to try and win back people from Overwatch, right? Yeah. And it stuffed up. And the problem is that they implemented things like matchmaking system, which basically broke.
No, I am listening.
He was drawing at the same time.
I just wanted to mess up with some people by drawing a symbol I've been meaning to slip into our podcast for a very long time and never got around to it.
Okay. They implemented matchmaking in a similar fashion to For Honor, where you just could not get a match. You know, and like when you did get a match, it was broken, it was buggy as hell. End up with like huge ping numbers and that sort of stuff. So they fixed all that. Mm-hmm. That's the core thing, right? They fixed the problems that they had with matchmaking, and that was like tick number one. Yep. Tick number two, they implemented a huge new content update, which is something that we've been sort of needing in terms of just revitalizing the game. Another big tick there. New TF2 short, which was hilarious, and I love it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that short.
I actually didn't get around to finish watching it.
You should watch it.
Oh, God, watch it. Jesus.
When I get home on the train.
We might watch it after this. Anyway, and finally, they did a massive rework and introduced new weapons for the Pyro.
Yeah.
Yep. Right? Which has changed the game immeasurably, and it's interesting again, basically, to try and...
new meta.
Well, that's the thing.
Fun.
New meta, and obviously they reworked old weapons as well.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
But also, that's the idea of if they've got a Pyro update, then they'll have an update for another class. There's an idea of...
It means that they can...
They're going to change everything.
They've already said that Heavy's going to get an update at some point, because at the time it was Pyro versus Heavy. Pyro won, so it got the update. Right? And so Heavy's going to get an update as well.
Yeah, so it just normally means Heavy's next on the list.
Yeah, Heavy's next on the list.
And they'll probably have another competition, another VVV, and then they'll just pick another one.
Pick your next one.
Admittedly, last time they did a 1v1 pick your update thing, it was like Spy vs Sniper. Surprise, you get both of them.
Yeah. Ka-chow! And that was like really early on in Team Fortress lifetime.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, the point is, it completely revitalized the community. Not only is like they're more like TF2 YouTubers uploading stuff because they've got new content to make, but just in general, there's more people playing. Cool. And it went, I think at one point it dipped as low as like 25th most played on Steam or whatever.
That's
and
awesome.
It's back into the top 10 or back top 5 or something.
Massive lift.
That's fantastic.
So it's just completely lifted the game, and that's been my wildcard for this year.
Okay, so for me, I was actually going to say one, but I think it's actually not from this year. We played it on the channel. You all know how much I love my multiplayer games. It was Night Squad.
I was thinking you were going to say that, and I think it was last year.
It was last year.
I'll double check.
So
I think it's last year.
I'll always enjoy a good multiplayer game.
How about this? And it actually came out on Games with Gold this year? So you can get it for free this year, so we'll include it.
Having said that though, like there's another one that was actually this year. I'm keen to play it with you guys, and again, another multiplayer. It's called Runbow.
And it is amazing.
It is so much fun. Good. It is so clever. It is the most basic game. You just have to get from point A to point B, and the obstacles aren't even that difficult, but they just change because it's using color. And it might have a spotlight that moves and changes.
Yeah, Night Squad's old, by the way.
It's 2015. You're 2 years out.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just
Runbow's
so cleverly done.
Old, but that's okay.
Is it old? Okay, so this is the problem with me playing things on Games with Gold, because I get it like a couple of years after.
I actually just want to preface this, like I play a lot of old games for the first time, Like,
2015.
I think it's a valid strategy.
They've never been 20.
I think it's a valid strategy because you get them for free on Games
free,
on Gold,
yeah.
or you get them for cheap on Steam sales. Like
Yeah.
that's
I think-
how you discover cool
I
content.
think we'll allow it. The free release of this game was this year. We'll allow it.
So both of those
Game's
two,
fun as fuck.
Runbow and Night Squad, they're just fantastic fun games. Like you won't play it for hours on end. You'll have a group of friends, rock up, sit down for an
great party
hour,
game.
hate each other by the end of it, but absolutely love the crap out of that little experience.
So it's like Mario Party, or
It's also like maybe like speedrunners.
Yeah,
Or
it's a
like
lot
it's
like
exactly
speedrunners.
like
It's
speedrunners.
much like
or even,
speedrunners.
I mean, it's totally different. I was also going to say stuff like Jackbox, which is a different experience because more
Different experience,
more
but again,
it's
multiplayer
the same
game
idea
that
of
brings everyone
get a whole bunch of
together,
people together. Let's
get
fucking
shit
There's
happen,
probably a
go.
Crash Bash
disperse.
level that's like it. I can
So
reference
it is
for you.
fantastic,
It's really good.
and I
It's very fun.
wildcarded because I want everybody to at least try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Go for it.
I actually have a runner-up for this one as well. So my initial wildcard shout out is for best single-player DLC. It was Hearthstone. I've already mentioned that. Like I said, roguelike CCGs, hot diggity damn, it's good.
okay.
Yep.
But the one that from this year that sticks out to me, and it's not Mario X Rabbids, which was a great surprise. The one game that I was obsessed with at the start of this year, that I'm still obsessed with now. I haven't played it since its latest update, but God knows I'm coming back, and God knows I'm bringing you with me. It is a roguelike Metroidvania. It was Dead Cells.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, that game was
Yeah.
great. You remember
Yeah,
me?
I saw you playing that. Yeah.
I went on holidays, and I played it for a week,
Yeah.
back to back.
Yeah.
That game is still in early access, so it's going to be my promising early access game of the year.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Shout out to Dead Cells, spicy roguelike platformer.
Okay.
Also, the one thing that I'm very surprised at that I want to give two clicks to everyone else doing runner-ups. So I feel like I should do some as well.
You deserve a runner
I
up.
can't believe that I haven't mentioned Destiny, considering I'm even wearing a hat. That game's great, and to be
Destiny
honest,
2.
Destiny 2, and it's a huge improvement over Destiny original. There are still problems with it, but then again, compared to the problems Destiny 1 had when it first launched, it's fucking
Reasonable.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and they're still building more content, and it's being supported really well, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good game.
Okay.
Also, as well, I think that we should do one for Carl, because I know what Carl's one was as well, and Carl's wild card that took him by surprise. He was hoping good things, but Carl, glass half empty man. He always keeps his expectations low. He was hoping for it, and it delivered was Cuphead. It was absolutely
yes. Oh, yeah.
fucking
God.
kicked every goddamn goal. It's an absolute mastery of game design. The
looks
balance
good.
is great. It offers a good challenge for players.
The artistry is
It's technically implemented in a way that it's in a Dark Souls-esque way of that it's fucking hard, but when you die, you blame yourself. It's not something of, the game doesn't fucking cheat me out of this
screw you
shit.
over.
No.
The game,
I gotta get
the
better.
game is what it is. You know what
You
you're
gotta get
getting
good at it.
into.
You gotta
Yes,
get good.
absolutely right.
And it's a good game, and I feel I'd be remiss without
mentioning it.
Definitely Carl's.
Okay. No,
So-
that's a very fair point.
And
Yep.
to wrap up, I just want to say, once again, this is all purely personal.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
We could play the number game and give you the pure, genuine one, which is actually Breath of the Wild is Game of the Year.
Well, Breath of the Wild is Game of the Year.
That is
officially.
Officially, it
yeah.
is Game of the Year.
Fair enough.
which
But we're
Which
giving-
pretty
we're
much
giving
from what our
opinion.
comments were, it came in second in what we mentioned
Yeah.
as in our second most
So,
mentioned game.
That's totally cool.
and
Yeah.
that
That's about it in terms of our
Also,
list.
the one last thing as well, we can have one extra one, but it will be audience. We can have an audience choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, audience game of the year, because if you think it's Breath of the Wild or you think it's something that wasn't Mario Odyssey, I think you're wrong. But let us know in the comments what you think the game of the year was for you, and then that'll be like an audience.
Honestly,
thing.
I'm going to open it
Or
up
Discord
more
or
than
anything.
just that. Like,
Yeah.
jump onto our Discord and we'll kick the conversation off, or just comment in the video below.
Yep.
What was your game of the year? What took you by surprise? What new game or what old game did you play for the first time or again that you
can be the
thoroughly
audience
enjoyed?
award.
Bring it all along.
what was
Let
the
us
movie
know.
of the year, and why was it Thor Ragnarok?
Actually, Blade Runner 2099.
I still haven't
Better
seen
than
that.
Ragnarok?
I haven't seen.
All right,
29.
guys, we are
Anyway,
way out of
we
time.
have gone well above. Like, this
Anyway.
was a massively long podcast.
Oh, is it?
Thank you very
Jesus
much for
Christ.
joining us.
See,
Hour
we
and a
did
half.
warn you.
That's fine.
I said this was gonna happen. Anyway, Thank you very much for listening. Like I said, jump into our Discord, join the conversation.
I finally made it.
Give us some suggestions, give us some ideas as to what we discuss next, what we play next.
Dick finite. You guys never let me put it on the whiteboard.
Get out of there.
Get the hell out of here.
So please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out some of our other stuff, and we're all ears. Give us some of the suggestions as to what we discuss and what we play.
Are we going to do another podcast in 2 weeks? Or are we done for the break?
This is our podcast for the end of the year, I believe. Yes. So like...
we'll catch you in 2018.
2018, new year, new me.
If you do want a podcast in 2 weeks, I hope you know it will be just me talking to myself because no one else is around.
Yep.
And then we'll be talking about...
So keep commenting what your favorite games were and shit, and we'll talk about week 1 of 2018.
2018. But just to wrap it up, thank you once again, and we all hope that you have a fantastic Christmas and New Year break with your friends and loved ones, and see you in 2018.
And fucking play Odyssey.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.